The theme for the present talk is living with God. Living with God is the highest state of living. God, the Lord of the universe, the Creator, the Sustainer, the Nourisher, the Caretaker of all. God is everything. God is the source of all goodness. Living with God means living with all goodness, living with beauty, living with eternity, living in universal peace, living in solace, people think that living with God is a very difficult task. No, it is not. Living with God is the easiest task. It is not at all difficult. It is our nature that we live with something. We are always living with something or the other. People live with their business, people live with their family, people live with their children, people live with their shops and houses, people live in their own interest. Living with something is a part of nature. You cannot avoid that. Everyone on this earth is living with the creatures. We are all living with the creatures. Now what we have to do? The task is very simple. The task is to shift our focus. That is the shift of focus we have to do. We have to shift our focus from the creature to the creator. That is what is needed. Then we will be in a position and we will be able to live with God. I will like to give you one example. That is the example of sun and light. Everybody lives in sunlight. Everybody knows sunlight. Everybody enjoys sunlight. Then it is not at all difficult for a person who lives in a sunlight to find the source of light, and the source of light is sun. So if you know the sunlight, you can very easily know the sun. This is the case of God. This is the case of God. I would like to give one example. I would like to give one example. This example is from an American astronaut when they have landed on moon. After returning back from the moon to the earth, the astronaut gave one interview. In his interview he said, when he has landed on moon, he has felt the presence of God. In his interview he said, when he has landed on moon, he felt the presence of God. Why? Because there was nothing. There was nothing. He was not having his family there. He was not having his business there. He was not having his buildings and structures, friends and enemies. There was nothing. It was the loneliness. In that loneliness, all the barriers which comes between us is been removed. So there were no barriers on the moon. The moment the barriers are removed, he felt the presence of God. He was face to face with God. God is everywhere. Right now he is with you. Right now he is with me. God is everywhere. Why we are not able to live with God? Is because we have the barriers. So we must know how to remove the barriers. When you remove the barriers, you are face to face with God. You are face to face with God. And how one can remove the barrier? It is very simple. It is very simple. It is the shift of focus. What you have to do from the creature to the creator. I would like to give another example of a tiger. If you are in a jungle, if you are walking on your foot and suddenly you encounter a tiger, what happens? Your all attention is now on the tiger. Nothing else other than tiger. Tiger becomes the supreme concern of attention to you. Tiger becomes the supreme concern of attention for you. No diversion. Your attention is nothing else other than tiger. This is the one example how you have to concentrate your attention on it. Remember, after our death, when we lose this biological life, we all human beings, irrespective of the race and religion, they have to stand before God. They have to stand before God. There is not a single exception to anyone for this. It means in jungle what you have faced with the tiger, after the death you are going to face the creator of the tiger, the creator of the lion, the creator of the universe. What is required is the concentration, is the concentration. You have to concentrate that your attention is on God or not. This seems to be difficult, how to pay the attention towards God. I give you one small formula. I will give you one small formula. And the formula is very simple. That is simple living and high thinking. Simple living and high thinking. Simple living means living on the bare necessities. What is required, bare essentially for the life you should have. No temptations. No wastage of time. No entertainments. No shoppings. No gossips. No ha-ha-you culture. This will become a barrier between you and God. The moment you are able to remove the barriers, the moment you are able to remove the barrier, you are with God. And to be with God, the simple formula of life is simple living and high thinking. Need on the basic necessities. Avoid all sort of irrational, unwanted things in the life. Then you will find God. Then you will be living in eternal peace. Then you will be living in universal peace. Then your soul will be at peace and you will achieve the solace, the blessings and all goodness in short. Whole of the nature what God has created is moving at a pace, and the pace of the nature is fixed. No one can change it. No one can change it, neither you, neither me. So what is peace? How to live in peace? So there is a cog which is moving. That's a cog of the God. That is the wheel. That's a cog wheel of the God which is moving. What you have to do? You have to synchronize your wheel with the God. Make that movement. Adopt that peace. The policy of nature. This will give you a living with God. In Quran it has been said that when Adam was created, God taught him the kalma. God taught him the names. And in Quran it is said, all the names have been taught to the human. All the names were taught to the man. What were these names? These are not the names of you and me. As per the scientific knowledge, we know that a human brain contains millions and billions of cells. And each cell is a data cell which contains the knowledge. So every man and woman, potentially they know everything. They know everything because millions and billions of information and wisdom is available in your mind. Every man is a knower. Every man can know anything. Now what you have to do? Turn this potential, what the God has kept you in your mind at the time of birth, that is the knowledge particles He has put you in your mind, in your brain. They are in billions and billions. You cannot count them. You cannot count them. They are basically the wisdom and the knowledge which is there in your mind and subconscious mind. Convert that potential into action. Convert that potential into action. Then you will be elevated. Then you will know many things. This is the life what is required for the humans. Humans are not cat and dog. They are not just born to earn, eat, have children and die. That is not life. This is a very meager or rather I will say very abused form of life what a human decide to live. Humans are eternal beings. We live with our ideals and these ideals has to be fulfilled. And as per the Quran, it is said the ideals will not be fulfilled in this earth, it will be fulfilled only in the paradise. So on this earth, if you live with the values, what God gives you, the values. God values are all good. It is all universal peace. It is the brotherhood. खैरी खैर खैरी खैर खुदा. खुदा के तमाम नाम खूबसूरत है, उसमें कोई खराबी नहीं. You have to adopt all that policies and you have to develop your personality. That personality will become a Rabbani personality, a divine personality. That is what is needed. You have to save yourself. You have to save yourself from the distractions. See how bright is the sun? How bright the sun is shining. And imagine the power of the sun. Very high. It contains billions of luxes into it. The energy level is so high. But if you put a small paper or a small cloud which comes in front of it, what happens? The sunlight doesn't reach you. These barriers I call is the distraction of your personality. You have selected these distractions. You have engaged in yourself into useless activities, and then you are living with this all things. No, remove them. Remove all that barriers. Remove all that barriers. Adopt a simple living and high thinking formula, then you will find face to face with God. That is what I want to say today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.